news on the Ozarks CW starts now.
People who are dissidents or people who don't agree with this administration are being singled out.
A Springfield woman among close to a dozen to get ticketed after participating in a No Kings protest. Cindy Potts says that her First and Fourth Amendment rights are being violated. She's speaking only to Francis Watson. Francis joins us live with what police are saying. Francis.
Yeah, Rob, Cindy Potts is one of 11 who were cited, but she says getting the ticket for walking in the street isn't what's bothering her. She says it's the way police investigated and that she got the tickets weeks after the event is what's troubling.
Others watching, that's policing by AI. That's policing retroactively.
Cindy Potts was one of hundreds who lined the streets of Springfield at the end of March for a No Kings rally. She says she was surprised to receive a ticket in the mail weeks later for walking in the roadway.
My issue isn't that I've got to pay a ticket for, I take full responsibility for what I do. Sending out tickets retroactively, using drone footage, using body cams, possibly using flock cameras, even though they tell us those only record license plates. They record and they get whatever's behind the license plates. That's what I'm concerned about.
Springfield police issued 18 citations to 11 people who participated in that protest, with one arrest.
It's simply intimidation. It's simply saying, you know, it's trying to squash our voices. It's trying to squash our First and Fourth Amendment rights.
Springfield PD stepped up and we're there to keep us safe.
Springfield Indivisible organizer Brenda Simpson says members met with police ahead of the demonstration and were told a group of officers would be monitoring the event.
It was Sergeant Wright who told me that the purpose of this task force was to enable people to exercise their First Amendment right in safety.
If police are feeling that people are conducting themselves in an unsafe manner, they can certainly police that issue despite the First Amendment.
Attorney Adam Woody says the U.S. Supreme Court has determined there can be reasonable restrictions placed upon the First and Fourth Amendment rights if safety is an issue.
Any investigatory technique like that is perfectly legal. It's something that police can utilize, and they are frequently doing so more and more as this technology continues to grow.
Cindy says she intends to continue to protest against the Trump administration.
I put my life on the line in Desert Storm for those rights, so they're not going to silence me.
Springfield police declined an interview because of ongoing litigation that's involved, but did say they issued 29 walking along the roadways citations over the past year and that drones are used to monitor all large events across the city. The minimum fine for violating the pedestrian safety ordinance is $100. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Francis Watson. Rob, back to you.
Francis, thanks. New at 9.